welcome to the Sleep Token Take Me Back to Eden album review. If you're here, that means you've been enjoying my videos, and if you're new MVB, most valuable burb, that means you've been enjoying the Sleep Token reaction videos, and for that, thank you for watching. I'm glad that you've been liking the videos because they've been a lot of work, but they've been probably the most rewarding videos I've ever done. My background with Sleep Token actually goes way back from 2018. I feel like some context is important so you understand some bias. So 2018, I discovered them through the channel Truant Reacts. He made a video for the song Jaws, which only had like 3,000 views or something like that, and I immediately was mind blown to that song.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So haunting, so beautiful. Became obsessed with Sleep Token, and then in 2019 when I started my reaction channel, I made a video for Nazareth. This is before Sundowning came out, and a lot of you guys discovered Sleep Token through that initial video. And then when Sundowning came out, they released a single for The Offering. Made a reaction video to that, got a lot of views, and a lot of people discovered Sleep Token initially through the channel, and then the snowball effect happened. A lot of people were discovering Sleep Token. Really cool. And then what a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, I gave Sundowning 8.8 out of 10 in my album review.
But if I have to give this album a rating, an 8.8 out of 10.
Really enjoyed that record. But then The Place Became Your Tomb ended up being in my top 5 most disappointing albums of 2021. But I don't really find myself going back to this record, and I find the songs not as enjoyable as, you know, the songs from the previous record. Also, I feel like their songwriting formula has gone a little bit predictable and it's not as exciting. Unfortunately, I hate to do this, but Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Tomb, didn't really love it. It's not a bad record. I just feel like Sleep Token could do a little bit more. I feel like Sundowning showed a lot of potential, and then The Place Will Become Your Tomb just kind of stripped a lot of ideas down. So Sleep Token kind of went under my radar a little bit. But then Take Me Back to Eden, as you guys saw with the reaction videos, Chokehold came out of nowhere while we were live streaming. Checked it out, mind blown. Next day, The Summoning came out. We were wondering, should we live stream this too? Okay, we decided to live stream it. Ended up being one of the best songs I've heard on my channel ever, actually. And then that's where that community-based reaction videos started coming in. That's where Sleep Token became a community-involved event for Take Me Back to Eden. So with all that being said, you know, I don't listen to the hype. The Place Will Become Your Tomb ended up still being one of my most disappointing records. So with this, I've been enjoying every single, as you guys can tell, but I don't let other people's opinions sway my opinion. And I know a lot of people were in my videos were saying every song was pretty much a 10, and I was joking. I don't really work like that, but since then, I've realized a lot of these songs are growers. I've realized maybe I shouldn't be so stingy on my 10s, and I'm going to explain why later on, but there's a lot of reasons why I think this record from Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden, is one of the most monumental records in modern metal. Now, I know a lot of people say Sleep Token's not metal. I disagree. Sleep Token's metal elements are way too prominent. They stand out like a sore thumb because you don't hear that style of metal music in any other genre, right? They also work with a metal producer. They're also on a metal label, Spine Farm Records. They also tour with metal bands. Sleep Token is part of the metal culture. But what they're doing here is so different. That is why this is a monumental record. Now let's talk about Sleep Token and their formula, which was becoming a con with their songwriting. Their formula was the slow burn approach. These songs that start off soft and build up to a crescendo, which is a breakdown or some drop with electronics. It's been done many times by Sleep Token. Very enjoyable through Sundowning, but then The Place Will Become Your Tomb got played out. Take Me Back to Eden does have these elements, but they did something different. Now what they did different with this record is what has changed Sleep Token for the better, but also the metal genre for much better. And that is genre switch ups. That idea of writing a song that goes past 5 minutes in length, but switching up the entire genre of the song has been so fun through reaction videos because you have no idea what to expect, but also through introducing non-metal listeners to this style of music. We all know The Summoning went massively viral through the funk section from The Summoning. Because of that, those people who downloaded the song are now listening to some filthy breakdowns and some prog metal, and that's so cool. So Sleep Token honing in on R&B, pop, 90s ballads, 70s prog rock ideas, funk, prog metal, alternative metal. There is so many ideas that are intertwined with each other that just makes for this culmination of so much explosive different ideas that just, if you are an avid music listener, there is something to enjoy here. Now, if you're a metal elitist listener or just a purist, you're not going to like this record. This is a metal elitist nightmare, this album. It truly is. But for me, as someone who is primarily a metalhead but also listens to a wide variety of music, this album is something I will be listening to for years to come. I feel weird describing myself as a pure metalhead. The way that I dress, sure, I have long hair, the nose ring, but I love metal music, but part of me is also loving other styles too much to just be a pure metalhead at heart. That's my strongest component in music, but I'm also a rock head, a pop head, jazz head, whatever. So I feel like with Sleep Tokens, Take Me Back to Eden is just the variety. It's that buffet of different styles that you're not going to get tired of. Now, the big question is, did Sleep Token deliver to the massive hype surrounding it? My answer is yes, it did. It did not meet those expectations underneath. It met those expectations perfectly. Now, the reason why this album is so good to me is because it gave me so many different feelings in one record. I can listen to a prog metal record and just enjoy musicianship or other things, and it gives me excitement, maybe chills here and there. Or I can listen to a folk album and just feel sadness, feeling some sort of relation to a lot of the lyrics, right? But with Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden, I get those chills. I get that aggression. I get those emotions, those sad moments, but I also get some sexy moments too. There's just so many emotions that I feel through this record that I don't feel with any other record in my life. This record makes me want to flip a table. This record makes me want to cry, vent, and just let out all my feelings. This album also makes me want to bang. It's true. There's certain sections that are really good for a naughty playlist. That alone is just exciting. And what's so cool about this record too, with all these genre switch ups, is that it's going to bring in a lot of non-metal listeners in, right? And because of that, this album is going to be really good to show your non-metal friends or non-metal family members to, right? We all know that we try to show them music here and there, see if they like it, and they never do. But Sleep Token, you can show them some songs, right? And they'll vibe out to it. But then sprinkle a little bit of metal here and there through Take Me Back to Eden. They'll be confused at first, but that's how they warm up to it. This is a band that you can show to friends and family. This is one of those special records that you can enjoy yourself, but you're also proud of it. You're proud to talk about it. You're proud to show it off. This is also an album that I cannot put down. This album review is taking a lot of time because I just can't stop listening to this record. I can't stop watching my videos. I'm so proud of my videos. I love watching these videos back and just hearing these songs again and getting those reactions from the community and me. I feel like I'm seeing something new when I watch the chat in my videos. The point is, I can't stop listening to this record. Just like when The Summoning came out, I couldn't stop listening to that song for months, and still I can't stop listening to it. I learned it on guitar, and usually I get so fatigued by a song once I learn it, I still can jam out to The Summoning. I'm still not sick of it. I can't think of any other song that I'm not completely tired of in this regard. You know, Aviation's Outliers is a band, and that I absolutely love, and that song is a 10 out of 10 to me. But it's a long song. It's 11, 12 minutes long. At least with the summoning, I can still throw it on here and there. One thing to know about the instrumentation with this record is the credits. Vessel is the primary songwriter. He is the guitarist, vocalist, keyboardist, synthesizer, also does production. He's pretty much the one-man band. But we got Sleep Token 2 doing the drums, which goes without saying, phenomenal drummer that they picked. But the fact that Vessel does everything on this record, I truly believe that we are witnessing one of the best songwriters of our lifetime right now, who happens to be a metalhead. We are so fortunate that we have someone with this voice, this variety in genre styles, this virtuoso in so many different instruments, happens to be a metalhead. We are so lucky, and this is why this band is so special to the metal scene, despite what some metal elitists feel about Sleep Token. Truly, I feel like this is just the beginning for Sleep Token, but there is so much potential with this man. The lyrics, the harmonies, the emotion, the passion, the unique varieties in melodies are just so entrancing. I can't stop getting some of these melodies out of my head. I can't stop playing them back. I go back to some songs on my Spotify just to hear that part again because it just gives me the chills. This album has given me so many chills, including these are some of my favorite moments on Take Me Back to Eden. This is an album that transcends genres. It transcends what you can do with music, the conventions of music. You're stuck in a box. It's very hard for bands to step outside that box without losing their fan base. Luckily with Sleep Token, they already solidified themselves as a very different sounding band, and they continue to amp it up. This album is just such a big level up than from anything else that they've done, from an instrumentation standpoint, from ambition standpoint, from writing much longer songs, including the idea of genre switch-ups. The production is also so much more full. There's so many layers and beautiful melodies and choices in fade-outs and fade-ins that are just so constantly hearing more and more. For example, you hear build-ups with piano, but then once it repeats itself, the build-up starts getting a little bit more intense because they start adding some more harmonies through the root notes of some of these chords, and then also there's some synth pads being added the second time around to just create that suspense. So the more that you listen to a lot of these things, you just pick apart more and more details. The songwriting here has gone a lot better. Not only that, but the lyrics are so vivid. They paint such a clear picture, talking about the deity of sleep, and it seems like he's really coming to terms with this relationship that's been toxic and finally getting some healing by the end of it. You know, there's so much callbacks for the fans to enjoy. If you're a new Sleep Token listener, you're not going to be hearing all these, but there's also fanfare. So there's that extra layer. There's even deep fanfare. You know, some things there's callbacks to Chokehold, there's callbacks to old music from prior Sleep Token. There's just so many things for fans to enjoy through lyrical content. And what I love about Vessel's lyrics is that his choice of words are very grounded. He doesn't use a lot of big words to just, sound smart. Instead, he uses a lot of words to help relate, but he paints such a vivid picture with so many visual words being displayed. Also simplifies things down for "Are you really okay?" for example. Simple lyrics that just mean so much to people. Something like "Chokehold," you have me in a chokehold. It's something that we know these words and it sounds simple, but they haven't been done like this and with this kind of conviction with Vessel's voice. As you can tell, I am gushing about this record. There is so many things I love about this record. The emotions that I feel, the replay value, the fact that I can show this to anybody and just see if they can enjoy it as much as me. My reaction videos have been so fun. So much about this record has made me obsessed. I haven't been this obsessed with a record since maybe Loathe, I Let It In and Took Everything. I cannot put it down. I find so much joy in it. It gives me so many incredible goosebumps and makes me almost feel like a kid again listening to a rock band or a metal band that I first heard when I was like 15 or something. I feel like a kid again listening to music for the first time. And I know I'm not the only one. I've heard other comments saying I'm 55 years old. This music got me back into rock and stuff. What Sleep Token is doing here is massive. I truly believe we are witnessing a band that is going to reshape the way that we view music. I feel like metal has been all about the heavy breakdowns lately. Now, I mentioned back in January that I feel like genre switch-ups will be the new thing. I really believe after this record, even more so. There's going to be Sleep Token copycats. There's going to be more genre switch-ups. And that's what we need for the metal genre. This is truly a blessing in disguise. Well, not really in disguise. A blessing that is getting viral. And I'm so pumped about it. Barely do I ever actually agree with music that's going viral. I do not see the same sense of value as others, but with Sleep Token, The Summoning being one of the most viral tracks in metal, if not the most viral this year, and it's actually one of my favorite songs of the year, I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think that's ever happened in my life where I've loved a song so much that is also being loved by so many other people. I always feel like my music taste is a little niche, but with Sleep Token, I feel like that niche taste is actually being understood. Now look, I'm gushing and I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I'm going to be mentioning my favorite songs in this order. So, The Summoning is still my favorite song. It's a 10. That song just has everything I love in a song. It makes me want to mosh. It makes me want to vibe to that interlude. It also has that sexy ending. But number 2 is Ascensionism. You guys saw my reaction to that. That song gives me goosebumps. It has one of my favorite drops and one of my favorite lyrical moments when he shouts, "You make me want to disappear." Is just so beautifully done. One of the most epic moments, if not the most epic moment on the album for me. Number 3 is Chokehold. Chokehold is just perfect Sleep Token formula for me. Number 4 is Euclid. Euclid is a song that I have a hard time listening to because it's packed with so much emotion, but the emotion is joyful. It's not depression. And that's something that I like. It's not a song that just in your face, look how sad it is. There's something a little bit optimistic about it, and I really love that approach. Number 5 is Vor. Vor is just a badass track, and the black gaze elements I enjoy, but what I like even more is the soaring melodies in the 3-minute mark with these djenty guitars and these loud, almost falsetto hooks from Vessel just evoke so much emotion out of me. Next would be Take Me Back to Eden, another epic track. It's a lot of people's favorites, saying 10 out of 10. I love this song. The way that it starts with these birds that give a visual image before the song actually starts, plus the trap elements, which I really, really enjoy on this record too. Then the apparition, which I initially gave like a 7.4, that quickly changed. This song is a banger, man. This song is probably the biggest grower for me. I initially felt like it was too much like old Sleep Token, but now I cannot get enough of that drop and the vocal lines in the first verse. Next would be Aqua Regia. I love the prog rock elements to that. Then it'd be Rain. Rain is just a beautiful track that sounds like fall for me at times, but it's a lot more interesting to me. Are You Really Okay would be next. Now this song is so good, but I can't listen to it too much. The lyrics hit hard, but the 90s rock ballad sounds really good. I just find enjoyment in other songs, but if this is your favorite song, absolutely respect that opinion. I think that's a great opinion to have. For me, I love this song, but it's not even like at the top. That just goes to show how much I love this record. Then Granite, good song, love the sexiness to it. I find myself not playing it too much. And lastly, Do You Wish That You Loved Me, which is a song that I enjoyed initially, and I still do, but it's probably my least favorite, and I think it's a lot of people's least favorite. It's just a little too bubbly and poppy, even though it's still a really good track that has a really good hook. So the point of all this is that there's not one bad song. Every song here is good. But one thing about this record is that there might be a little bit of a lull at tracks 7, 8, 9, 10. And it starts to get towards a little bit more slow ballad territory. Initially, I was conflicted about this progression in the album, but then after some time, I realized each song is good in their own regard. I enjoy each song, and they're all 8s, 9s, and 10s to me. Nothing below, so they all have replay value for me. I guess the point of this is that I don't really have cons with this record. Now, I understand that there could be a con with this record, but for me, this record is one of the best things I've heard. It delivered to the hype for me. I don't have bias because I already mentioned This Place Will Become Your Tomb was kind of a disappointment. This is not the case at all. This is an album that I'm going to be listening to for years to come. I think it's going to help revolutionize the metal scene as well. And because of all this, I'm going to give it a 10. I gotta give it a 10. Now, a 10 is a masterpiece. Is this album a masterpiece? Hard to say. There is that lull moment towards the second half of the record, but I also hear some other people saying that the second half is their favorite half of the album. There's so many varied opinions about this record, which is also another point to consider to show how good this record is. When everyone can agree on what their favorite song is, sometimes that doesn't make for a more exciting record, but when everyone has conflicting opinions, that means there's so many good songs on this record for everyone. That's why I think this album is a 10. There's not one bad song. Every song is above an 8, and there's 3 10s. The Summoning, Chokehold, and Ascensionism are 3 tracks that are 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I don't think there's any other record that I've checked out where I would say the song's a 10. For a while, I've been thinking, should I give this album a 10? You know, it was going to be sitting at probably 9.6, 9.7. Then it just kept climbing up, and then I realized I feel like I have to give this album a 10. I feel like Sleep Token has potential to do more, for sure. They could make another 10. But right now, this album gives me way too many different feelings and emotions. It's also going to help change the scene. It's been such a blast. It's been so personal to me. The lyrics I can relate to. The melodies are beautifully haunting to me. The production is just gorgeous and grand. Even the visuals for each character is so intriguing. The lore, the fanfare, the community that's been watching my videos. There's so much that I love about Take Me Back to Eden that I have to give it a 10. This is one of the best records I've ever heard. And if you guys are wondering how many 10s I've given, only like 6 or 7 in my life. That is how much I love this record. I know I've seen other people online give it like 5, 4, and I get it because this is not a typical album. It transcends genres. So if you want a great metal record that just is refined, it pushes the musicians even harder, then sure, that'll happen. But if you want a band that is doing something that is completely different from everyone else, that also helps introduce non-metal listeners to metal, an album that you can show to your non-metal friends, hey, check this out. But you can also enjoy, you can also mosh, you can also cry, you can also bang to. I don't think there's ever been an album like that for me, ever in my life. This is one of the most special albums. This is one of the best albums. This is an album that I just want to stop reviewing and stop talking so I can go back and listen to it some more. I can't get enough of Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden. Guys, look, I'm going to shut up. I feel like I've talked way too much. There's probably more that I could say. I even thought about doing a podcast episode on this because I can't get enough of this album. Man, I just want to say thank you for joining along, supporting the streams. And now if you're supporting the Patreon, thank you. I hope you're not disappointed. My thoughts, one of the best records I've ever heard. Guys, that's my thoughts on Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, so comment down below. Spice up my life. Guys, what did you think about this album? I'd love to know. Is it a 10 for you too, or is it much less? Let me know. Love the discussion. I can go on and on about this record, but I am so happy with it. Again, thank you for supporting. You know, feel free to check out all the other album reactions. Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Tomb is here too. You already know my thoughts on that. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. But I'm going to end the video instead of saying thank you all night. I don't know that. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time. Peace. Oh, also there's a Discord. So if you want to chat with me about Sleep Token and other bands, then click the link in the Patreon post.